What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at base Vidic. He is my icon from the SBC, the base icon, which I believe should have gone even now or should be going at 6 PM today. So we have managed to get a decent one back, to be honest. He's a decent amount of value, 522 on the Xbox and 525 on the PlayStation. The only thing I am worried about is maybe an icon swaps. Probably I'd say more his mid. His mid is 7 paces lower than him, and his prime is 1 pace higher at 78. So I'm expecting an icon swaps mid Vidic, but to be honest, I think the base is better in pace. Defending and physical is considerably better on the mid, in my opinion, but the price difference is around about the same, so I'm very happy with him. He's about the cost of the base icon SBC, so I really couldn't argue too much with who I got, and obviously being a Man U legend, I'm more than happy to have him in my team. So let me know down below, who did you get in your base icon if you did complete it, and if you are here from icon swaps, if I've managed to predict the future that we've got a base Vidic, then let me know, are you picking him as well? So make sure you like and subscribe, and let's get into the review. Now, with the addition of Vidic into the game, we have got quite a few of now the icons I remember: Ashley Cole, Xavi, Fernando Torres, Schweinsteiger. We've got a lot of players that I know personally a lot more about than your Eusebios, even R9 to an extent. I'm not necessarily in the age bracket that remembers his career, really. I believe he was kind of like finishing up when I was in my 10s maybe, but Vidic, obviously, I do remember a lot of. He was just an animal. He's not the most gifted on the ball, but in terms of defensive tackles, physical, maybe even a little bit of pace, mainly in his prime. I'd love to see what his prime moment's going to be like, but mainly in his prime, he was a decent paced, strong tackler. That's about it. There was no real passing of him. Like, yes, he could oof a ball up and he could maybe lay a short pass off, but there's no like kind of Virgil kind of standard where he's maybe doing a little bit of dribbling as well and managing to pass it over like 30-40 yards, pinging a ball. The defending's completely different nowadays. The defenders now in centre-back roles are normally kind of all-round players, whereas back then with the Rios, with the Vidices, the John Terrys, they are just out-and-out tacklers. Tackle the ball, pass it out to your wingers, or pass it out to your left back, right back. That's predominantly what it was all about, and Vidic does that incredibly well. He is a two-star, which, again, the weak foot would be always nice. The skill move's not too fussed about. You can kind of just throw that one in the bin, but the weak foot would always be nice, just to kind of like have that almost comfortability. I don't know, just a bit of comfort in your mind knowing that you could use his left foot if you needed to. He's 6'3", obviously quite a tall centre-back, and he has got no work rates, apparently. I'll have to double check what they are, but apparently NA on the work rates, and he's high in average on the body type. Not too sure if that's right, but in terms of the stats, 77 pace, 86 defending, 87 physical. That's predominantly the stats you're looking at on this card, because he's only got 60 dribbling and 55 passing. 84 composure, which is always good. Reactions are at 81 as well. Ball control at 65, 70 agility, 74 balance. Like I said, he's more of a tackler. He's already got his defense quite high. His pace is decent, and his physicals are decent. What you want to be doing with this card is out and out shadow. Shadow, and more shadow. 87 pace that takes him up to, and 94 defending. It turns him into a 90 centre-back, and by God is he a cracking centre-back at that. He is absolutely phenomenal next to my Varane. He's really, really good at tackling. Like, honestly, just the way that you'll see some of the in-games, there's the final tackle in the gameplay against Neymar. What a cracking crunch. And also not too bad at heading up the field as well. But let's go into some gameplay, and then we'll have a look at his overall after. So with Vidic, I thought, looking at him, looking at the stats, looking at his rating, and just all about him, I thought pace not necessarily will be an issue, but you're not got 80, and how that guy didn't take that ball, but it's not quite 80 plus, and I think that's okay with him, because I think his defensive tackles and just his defense overall kind of makes up for that. His recovery to get back and manage to get them interceptions, them tackles, standing or sliding, is absolutely phenomenal. And then obviously with the physical side of him, he is a monster against players. He really does make sure that he gets that ball, and some of the tackles that he's been making over the foot champs has been absolutely nuts. It's the first time, and in a game he managed to get himself a brace from corner headers. Unfortunately, I didn't have that clip made, but this is just a monster challenge on Neymar. Straight in, no nonsense, get the ball out. So going in the overall for Vidic then, like I say, there's no other icons that are Serbian at this moment in time, so he is kind of on his own in terms of a strong link in icon standards. But we have got Zambrotta next to him. We have got, obviously, Carlos Alberto would be a cracking right back next to him as well. But we've gone with the two Man U keepers, Van der Sar mid because his base is awful, and Schmeichel mid. Would prefer Prime on Schmeichel. I believe that's his better version. I believe as well mid Van der Sar is better than the Prime and the base. But again, we are probably going to go for Prime moments when they do come out as well. But they're the kind of players that I'm looking at. Carlos Alberto and Blanc are the similar players, I think, in terms of other icons. If we do go and quickly have a look, if we go positions, just to see what sort of level we're looking at. So if we go to the bottom, we'll go to page 2. Vidic is obviously one of the lowest next to Coman, Campbell and Rio. Rio is outstanding as well, would be a cracking pairing. Coman, I believe, is good as a CDM, but I don't know if it's that version. Campbell's a good player with the 84, and I think the Rio-Campbell kind of partnership would be really good as well. Carlos Alberto, I think his centre-back card is lovely, but he is better as a right-back later on down the line. We have got mid-Campbell, Bobby Moore, who are alright. We do have a Maldini as we go further in. Cannavaro is a cracking centre-back. You then get the mid Vidic. Desai is a centre-back's good. And then I think Matthias I would prefer as a CDM personally. And I believe after that it is then Maldini, which is more into his prime if anything, because I know he's got a left-back, which is, yeah, he's got his mid and then obviously his prime that are cracking centre-backs as well. And I've heard Puyol's not too bad this year also, so be interested to see what he's all about. But Vidic has definitely made an impression straight off the bat with me. As you can see between the differences, his mid to base, mainly the difference in defending for the mid and then pace for the base. And then obviously passing's a little bit better as well. I think in terms of between them two, I would prefer his base just for the passing because we can always get that defending up. Whereas, obviously, the other way around, you can only get a max of 10, which could be, well, it's only 80 on this card. And I think straight off the bat, I'm thinking that could be an issue. His 90 version, obviously, it's kind of like Man U heydays, 78 pace, 93 defending, 91 physical. The card's going to be absolutely cracked. It's going to be such a good card, and if you do whack a shadow on him, it should get him 88 pace and then 99 defending if he was to go with a shadow. But I think you could go with the anchor as well to get that physical up, and it would just be, it's just a nuts card. I can't wait to see him. And then obviously, I believe Vidic's prime moments should be absolutely phenomenal, because it's got to be somewhere in his prime just because of where he was in his career. I feel like it's going to be a very, very nice card. Put him next to a prime moments Rio and you are absolutely laughing. But in terms of what else with him, I've given him the basics. I've given him a 9 out of 10. I think he's a wonderful centre-back. He's got decent pace once you whack a shadow on, as we saw, 87. Defended is absolute 10 out of 10. Physical's 10 out of 10. Where it lets him down is his passing. His dribbling to an extent, but I mean, you don't need too much of it. But just on the ball kind of basic animations for him, it is poor. It is poor, but again, pass it out. You've not got to worry about it. He can do the bare minimum just to succeed. It's going to be like 25-0 kind of foot champs where maybe you want someone who's a bit more confident on the ball. And then other than that, I think he's just a wonderful centre-back. Would I pay for him outright with coins? Probably not, because I feel like there's definitely enough strong links. A Joe Gomez and a Walker combination. You've got a Varane and a Mendy combination. And you're absolutely laughing for pretty much the price that you'd pay for this card. I think he's good if you do get the chance of icon swaps or an icon SBC. But I probably wouldn't go out and buy him straight out of the coins unless I was somewhat of a Man U fan and really wanted that past and present team. But hopefully you did enjoy this video. Let me know down below what you think about him. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.